Welcome to the Unpractice space. I am Dr. Rachel White Galvin, your host. I'm realizing that in my first 4 episodes here, I never said my name. So I'm saying it now. Dr. Rachel White Galvin. There you are. Hopefully I remember to say it in future episodes too. Welcome to today. Today is powered by iced coffee. I wonder what you're drinking. Switching to water here in a second because, yep, it's that time of day. So this month is August, and we are focusing on posture, which is a huge topic for musicians, especially classical music culture. We love to talk about posture, right? Posture is everything. So yeah. Posture. Like, just sit with that word, pun intended, a little bit. Or just sit with that word, posture. What comes to mind when I say that word? I can imagine, probably sat or stood up a little straighter. Maybe lifted your chin, pulled back your shoulders, tightened your tummy, and you probably stopped breathing. Posture in general is a very static concept. It's positioning your student into their very best playing position and taking a Polaroid photo of them and telling them that this is your best position. Make sure you always do it this way. And then forgetting that they weren't playing. They were just holding still for a photo. How familiar maybe does that sound to you? Because I've still got the photo from my teacher. We are not static beings. And if you get one thing out of this episode, let it be that. In this whole episode, I want to talk about what is good posture. Because again, we are not static beings. We move. In fact, we need to move in order to live. Movement is life. And stressing about posture is more trouble than it's worth. And I know that from personal experience, and I'm going to get into that story here in a second. But first, I want to just go over a few ideas that we generally associate with posture. And you can tell me in the comments if any of these are familiar to you. The idea that you are fragile and that your bad posture causes you pain. The idea that good posture is aesthetically pleasing. It looks good. We can tell that somebody has good posture by the way they look. Alignment, the idea of how your head, your shoulders, spine, hips, knees, ankles line up relative to one another. And this is often taught through the eyes, visual, again, aesthetic, looks good, of a teacher, coach, and using external stimuli, maybe like standing against a wall or lining a broomstick up with your spine, walking with a book in your head, maybe some playing related ones. I don't know about other instruments, but at least like violin, viola, it's like balancing a ping pong on your bridge or a coin on your bow hand, that kind of stuff. The idea that you are your instrument and that you need maintenance, regular maintenance. The idea that your posture, your poor posture, is something that needs to be fixed. And then the idea that your good posture is something that needs to be maintained. So classical music culture has a lot of misconceptions about posture. And like all those things that I just mentioned are misconceptions. Society, our society as a whole, I'd say Western society, but maybe American society, American culture is maybe the better focus, has a lot of misconceptions about posture. But I feel that in classical music, we thrive on being told what to do. And telling people how they should sit and how they should stand to play their instrument better just fits very well into that niche of being told what to do. So, a little bit about my background, because posture is a topic that's actually really important to me. It's so important, in fact, that I actually find it a little hard to talk about. And partly that's because it's emotional, as you'll find out in my story. And partly because I have so much to say and I often don't know where to begin. So I'm going to try and keep this episode and the future episodes on posture contained. And hopefully I don't spin off the rails, go into the weeds or anything like that. I promise not to talk about Hannibal Lecter or whatever, any kind of word salads. So my story. Since I was about 11, I struggled with the idea that I had bad posture when I was playing the viola. And this is funny because I also danced ballet, and in ballet I always heard I had great posture. But I internalized this bad posture viola talk. And then I ended up injured from playing when I was about 15. And I continued to struggle with those injuries and a variety of different injuries. I struggled with those on and off till I was about 30. I had multiple teachers point to my posture as the reason for my injury. They didn't want to look at my perfectionism, my people-pleasing, my anxiety, my lack of taking breaks or sleeping, my ineffective practicing. They didn't want to look at how the music programs I was in were exploiting me as a performer. And they didn't want to look at their own impossibly high expectations. But posture was always the villain, right? So posture was always at the front of my mind when I was looking for solutions to my injuries. I stretched, I strengthened, I mobilized, I wore posture correcting braces, I visited chiropractors and physical therapists. I did yoga, I did Pilates, I did weightlifting. I spent a fortune on all the ergonomic gadgets for my instrument and beyond. I bought an expensive new instrument and an expensive new bow, and none of it helped fix my pain. And oftentimes, all that worrying I did, all that focusing I did on my posture made me feel worse. And I even got certified as a personal trainer, as a posture specialist from the quote-unquote National Posture Institute. I was a foundation training instructor, and honestly, I have more posture-related certificates than I can remember. I've forgotten many of them because they were all useless when it came to fixing my problem. And it wasn't until I began my Feldenkrais teacher training that it hit me. I was looking at it all wrong. I was trying to fix, quote unquote, you can't see my fingers, but I got air quotations going on, fix my pain and fix myself. Because I was viewing myself as some kind of machine that just needed a really fancy tune-up. And this idea, though it's one that's promoted far and wide, just about everywhere, there's a huge market, money-making machine revolved around it. This idea that you're a machine that needs to be fixed is not based in reality. People are not machines. You are not a machine. People are people, and you are people, my friend. We are complex, dynamic beings with emotions. We cannot be, quote unquote, fixed. We cannot, quote unquote, be tuned up. We cannot be hacked. We cannot be reset, and any other mechanotech jargon that's out there. Living is about moving. Even the most seemingly stationary beings I'm talking like sea cucumbers and plants. They still move, even if it's just the tiniest little bit. So our society's ideas about posture are based on suppositions that are false. And this is when I fell in love with the idea of acture. So Moshe Feldenkrais, the namesake for the Feldenkrais method, coined the term acture, spelled A-C-T-U-R-E, for anybody that wants to go look it up. Acture as a way of communicating that posture needs to move. It is action, not position. And now here's the truth. Worrying about your posture often can make you feel worse because you are more than just posture. You are more than just a body. You are a complex, dynamic being with thoughts, feelings, wants, and needs who exists in an environment that includes other people, some of whom you might actually give a crap what they think, some maybe not. That's okay. This environment also includes some systems, some of which you can control, many of which you cannot. And this environment is ruled by the harshest of mistresses, gravity. Evolution has made it so that movement is vital to your existence. Even when you're at rest, you're still breathing, you're swallowing, your heart is pumping, etc. Evolution has also gifted you with bones. And these bones help you withstand gravity just a little bit better. And evolution has also given you ways to heal. So, to go back to some of those misconceptions that I listed earlier, and this is just the beginning. I want to talk more about a lot of these things in our 4 episodes after this for the month, because it's a 5 Thursday month. So, misconception 1, you're fragile and your bad posture causes your pain. Nope and nope. Humans are amazingly resilient. When it comes to posture, you really aren't that fragile. I mean, but many humans might be fragile, like if, you get hit by a bus. And I'm sorry, that's kind of a violent imagery, but that's true, right? That's fragile. But when it comes to your position, how you stand, things like that, you're not really that fragile. And studies are repeatedly showing that bad posture does not cause pain. Now, the next misconception, good posture is aesthetically pleasing. It looks good. Nope. How you position yourself needs to facilitate whatever it is you are trying to do. This means that you are not going to be picture perfect all the freaking time, and that's okay. That's stressful, right? Being picture perfect all the time, super stressful, not necessary. People cannot live under those circumstances. So being picture perfect shouldn't actually be your goal. Doing what you want to do is your goal. That's it. This idea of alignment. Alignment is not synonymous with posture, but I often feel that it is used as a wolf in sheep's clothing to ramrod these good posture aesthetic ideals to us. Optimal positioning of your body is not something that can be measured, lined up, or anything else external. Alignment should be a focus of how you're using gravity, and that's very internal, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a moment. You are your instrument, and you need maintenance. I remember when the book You Are Your Instrument came out, and it felt so empowering to think of oneself as something that needed just as much tender, loving care as your instrument. But here's the thing. No matter how valued your instrument is to you, your instrument is a tool. It's made to accomplish a task. You are not a tool. And if you need to, rewind back a few minutes to hear my complex dynamic being pep talk. I do like the idea of people investing in themselves as much as they invest in their instruments. But please, you are not a tool. You are a person. Bad posture is something that needs to be fixed. Nope. You are dynamic. You are always changing. You change with your mood. You change with your hormones. You change with the weather. You change in so many different ways. Day to day, hour to hour, month to month, whatever. You change. You can't really fix something that's always changing. And as I said before, you're not a machine. Further, this idea of fixing means repairing back to its original state. So even if you're injured, in pain, not feeling your best, you're still learning and taking yourself back to some original state. Like, what does that mean? Infant state? Like when you were 7, when you were 10, 15, 20? What does it actually mean to repair back to your original state? You just didn't, you're constantly changing, right? So you cannot discount being injured as that pain being a teacher. And I don't mean that in some kind of sadistic kind of whatever the word is, flagration or whatever the word is, kind of way. Pain can be a teacher because pain is incredibly complex and it really is information. Your brain is trying to give you information. It's not a punishment. But that's also a little complicated, and there's a lot to get into on the subject of pain, and I'm hoping to reserve that for its very own month coming shortly. So stay tuned on that one. So much to say there. And then this last one that we had talked about above. Good posture is something that needs to be maintained. No. Fitness is a great thing. I coached CrossFit for 5 years. I've been a personal trainer, blah, blah, blah. I love fitness. Fitness is great. But fitness to maintain posture is a waste. So like I just said a moment ago, you're constantly changing. So if you're stretching, you're strengthening, you're trying to maintain some kind of good posture, what are you actually doing? Honestly, improving your mood can do more for your posture than anything else. So if you enjoy your workout or your stretching routine and that helps your mood, then that, improving your mood, will do more to help your posture than whatever the workout actually was. But a routine that you hate is not going to help at all. So in our classical music culture, and I feel like I need to find a better name for that because it's really annoying to say, but maybe it's good that it's just so on the nose. It's just a lot of syllables. In our classical music culture, we need to broaden our ideas of posture to include how we move. Most of us start playing an instrument when we're very young, often specializing solely in that instrument. And our movement vocabulary, which I like to call multiculary, is it a word? No, but actually, you know what? It is because I just made it up. Our multiculary gets prematurely stunted by our specializing in an instrument so young. Making sure that we're focusing on broadening the use of ourselves, our multiculary, movement vocabulary, is integral to feeling better about this thing that we want to call posture. And then going back to this idea about alignment, because alignment I don't find horribly offensive. But like I said, it gets kind of, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing to ramming this idea of good posture at us. And it gets very externalized. But alignment is a very introspective, internal thing. It is your relationship with gravity. It is your own relationship with gravity, not that person over there that's looking at you and saying, oh, you look like you have bad posture. No, it's not their relationship. They have no business in this. Your bones have developed to channel gravity most effectively. There's millions of years of evolution that has gone into this. So channeling gravity through your bones means that your muscles don't have to work so hard. And we often think of wanting to challenge our muscles to make them stronger. And yes, okay, that's part of strength training. Yes, fine. But nothing that's under constant, unrelenting load ever gets stronger. So the more that we can utilize the structure, the hard structure of our bones to channel gravity, the more efficient our muscles and the stronger our muscles can be. And that enables a lot of things, right? So here are a few ways that I want to leave you with to know if you're channeling gravity well. So you can move easily, relatively for you. You can swallow easily, relatively for you. You can breathe easily, relatively for you. You can change directions, relatively easy for you. Doing things with your hands, like wiggling your fingers, isn't as big a struggle. That's especially important for instrumentalists, and that's all relative to you. And these are things that I think, and this whole concept of channeling gravity, this is what the Feldenkrais method helps with a lot. And it's helping to cultivate that special attention to your relationship with gravity. That's most important. And your ability to feel, this isn't working right now. What's going on? And to get curious about it. Find new ways to move. So that is the beginning of my posture rant. Hopefully it made sense. Some of the things that I want to dive deeper into this month and in this month's episodes, prompts, which this prompt may not have ended up being so prompt. I don't have the time clock on right now on my recording, so I don't know where I am in time. But a few of the things I want to dive deeper into. I want to talk about tension and relaxation. I want to talk about instrument-specific strengthening and stretching and how helpful are they really. I want to talk about ergonomics and the role of ergonomics in all of this. I want to help you get some more ideas about how to expand your movement vocabulary. And a lot of that will actually also come if you're in my higher membership levels, so that you're able to access the warm-up cool downs and the movement lessons. But you're also welcome to go search out other Feldenkrais lessons. There are so many and so many teachers out there. And then the last thing I want to talk about this month is specializing too young. Because I think that is a serious conversation that really needs to be had in our culture. I would love to hear what you want to talk about in terms of posture, because this is a huge topic for us in playing instruments. And let me know what questions you might have, what you want to discuss. I'm really open to hearing what other people would like to talk about. So thank you so much for listening today, and I look forward to speaking with you more this month and hearing your thoughts and maybe some ideas about what you'd like to hear more about. So thanks so much, everyone. Take care.